So XRP holders and Solo token holders are about to participate in an upcoming airdrop. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about how that's actually going to work, some important dates you're going to want to know, some price predictions based on the crazy price movements that we've seen so far with the Solo token, some upcoming projects that they're actually working on, how that could benefit Solo token holders, and I'm going to compare it to a few other airdrops that actually happened recently. Because I know a lot of people are concerned about a flash crash after the snapshot, after the airdrop, what's actually going to happen with the price. Well, I have some information based on some other airdrops that could help shed some light on the situation. I also have some information on where you can find more information, not just on the airdrop, but actually on Sologenic itself, as well as where you can get it and where you can store it to make sure that you participate in this upcoming airdrop. And if you've been paying to some of the XRP news recently, you've seen that the XRP ledger is actually undergoing a little bit of a scaling issue. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what's actually happening and why, based on what I've been reading on Twitter, what some of the developers and some of the tech people are actually talking about, and what's being done to fix it. And is this going to do anything to the XRP price? Hey everyone, my name is Randy and welcome back to the Late Night Grind. Right now on this channel, I'm talking about the Ripple versus the SEC case, but since that's very quiet recently, I'm talking about other cryptocurrency news, investment markets, personal finance, and airdrops. So if any or all those topics interest you, make sure you do two things. Number one, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification icon so YouTube will send you a notification when I release a new video. And if you're feeling generous today, which I believe people in the crypto space are the most generous people on the planet, I'd really appreciate it if you do two things. Number one, smash the thumbs up button, watch this video all the way to the end, and I think you should do that because there's some really important information in it. So if you do that, I'd greatly appreciate it. All right guys, let's jump into it. Okay, so first I want to talk about the issues that the XRP ledger has been having. Now I've seen it described as a scaling issue, and essentially what's been happening is some of the wallets that work with the XRP ledger, namely the Zoom XUMM wallet, was on Twitter the other day voicing concerns about what's actually happening. There's transactions that are not going through, they're choking, there are massive delays, and from what I could tell, there was a lot of developers that actually work on the XRP ledger. After doing some diligence on seeing actually what's happening, they figured it out and they've given at least a little bit of a fix. It's almost like a band-aid as to what's happening. So here's what it is. There's actually nothing wrong with the XRP ledger. Is that the XRP ledger runs two what they call full history nodes. Well, those nodes aren't supposed to be used for production purposes, but what is happening is there are now a ton of companies and a ton of people creating their own tokens and doing airdrops to the XRP ledger. And it's interesting that I'm talking about this with Sologenic when this is actually one of the issues that is essentially choking the XRP ledger right now, or at least as of yesterday. But the problem is there's a lot of different places where you can actually go on and create your own token and do an airdrop to the XRP ledger. So many companies and so many people are now doing this that essentially those nodes were choking on the amount of tokens being sent to those production nodes. And I've now seen a lot of people on Twitter offering warnings, basically saying, stop creating these scam coins, these junk coins, these pointless coins that are essentially used for marketing purposes at best, or even just outright scams at the worst, and just dumping their tokens onto the XRP ledger. And it's actually doing more harm than good for anybody that's actually trying to develop things for the XRP ledger. So one of the band-aids that they offered was, as a lot of people know, the XRP ledger, it's extremely, extremely cheap to transact value across the XRP ledger using XRP as a settlement token. Well, what they figured out was that developers of applications that send money across the ledger, they can do this by making their transaction fees just a little bit higher. Now, of course, it's extremely cheap to do it in the first place, and it's still extremely cheap. But I've seen Zoom, as well as a few other wallet and other application developers, say what they can do is just make that transaction fee a little bit more expensive, and it will bypass basically all of the backlog, all of the queue that are actually waiting for the transactions to go through, and they're all using that same extremely cheap price point. And I don't want to get caught up in the technicalities of it, but basically all that to say was that because of the massive increase in airdrop tokens, and in fact, I saw the other day on the XRP scan, over 3 million transactions went through on the XRP ledger, and ever since that day, it actually slowed down, and to yesterday, was only transacting about 5% of the number of transactions that it had been last week. Now today it seems like it's doing a little better. It's up about 400% over the number of transactions yesterday, and that's so far, probably because of these Band-Aid issues that are actually being developed by application developers. So hopefully this gets cleared out soon, and hopefully they do something about just how easy it is to actually create a bunch of junk coins and dump them on the XRP ledger. But this is something I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on. All right, now let's talk about this upcoming airdrop, a legit airdrop, not a scam token or a junk token or a marketing gimmick. This is actually one of the real deal airdrops you're going to want to pay attention to. With the Flare network doing an airdrop and Sologenic doing an airdrop, these are the ones that you want to participate in, not the other junk ones. So I've been fielding a lot of questions on Twitter. In fact, I was on there way too much today, answering questions and asking questions to try to figure out what exactly is going on with the Sologenic airdrop. So if you haven't watched some of my previous videos, I talk about this upcoming airdrop because number one, it's getting a lot of attention outside of other airdrops that other airdrops did not, and number two, largely because of the price action that has been happening. In the last 35 days, it's 120x. From a 5.4 cents was its low. I believe I said 5.1 cents previously. 5.4 cents at its low to its current trading price of about $6.40 to $6.50. All that in the past 35 days. So that alone is why it's getting a lot more attention. And of course, the more people look into Sologenic, the more awesome things they see, because they see that in development right now is the decentralized exchange of tokenized assets, meaning you'll be able to buy, sell, and trade tokenized versions of Amazon stock. And not only that, they're building out an NFT marketplace, which BIS in Japan said the XRP ledger would actually be the perfect place for an NFT marketplace because of its extremely cheap transaction fees and extremely quick settlement times, unlike the bigger network that we all know that starts with the letter E. So far, Sologenic's doing a great job of marketing, not just from the financial side, but also from the project side. A lot of people are comparing it to what Binance Coin did because of the usage of Binance that actually grew exponentially over the last couple of years. And this being built on the XRP ledger, along with being an NFT marketplace and a tokenized securities exchange, it's going to get a lot of mainstream media once it's actually launched and adopted. You can actually go on the Sologenic website, put in your email address, and they will actually notify you if you want to go on and be a tester of their exchange and actually test out those tokenized securities buying and selling. So if we look right now on coinmarketcap.com, Sologenic is the #1 token that is on the most people's watch lists. CoinMarketCap.com has a feature where you can go on and when you're looking at a coin, you can actually check that little star and put it on your watch list, and you can basically make a short list of tokens that you want to keep an eye on. Well, this Solo token is now the most watched token on CoinMarketCap.com. Right now, there's 3.6 million people have added it to their watch list. That's more than Ethereum at 2.3 million, more than Bitcoin at 2.9 million, although a lot of people don't really watch Bitcoin. They either just forget about it because they're holding it, or they're day trading it and they already see the price. And even Cardano with 1.9 million watchers. Solo has 3.6 million watchers on CoinMarketCap.com. And I think a lot of this has to do with some of the price movements. 5.5 cents to $6.50 in the course of a month is big news. It doesn't matter what the token is, that's going to make headlines. But what's going to happen in the run-up to the snapshot on December 24th? What's going to happen to the price of Solo after the snapshot? And what's going to happen to the price of Solo after the actual airdrop on January 20th, 2022? Well, I took a look at 2 other airdrops recently and took a look at their results to see what could potentially happen to Sologenic as this airdrop plays out. Now the first one I looked at, now these are both on the Ethereum network that did airdrops. Now the first one that I looked at was the Boba token, and if you haven't heard of that, well, neither have I. But it was a token that was dropped on the OMG network, and if you don't know what that was, the OMG network is basically a layer 2 scaling protocol for the Ethereum network because Ethereum layer 1 is far too slow. So their layer 2s are built for more transaction speed. OMG network was one of the networks built for that. The Boba token was airdropped to OMG token holders. Now, this is one of the tokens, it did not have any price movement before the airdrop. But here's what happened. On the airdrop day, it was at $5.40 when it first launched. Within a few hours, it had dropped to $4. And by the next day, it was down to about $3.80, but then climbed. It spent the next 10 days climbing to all-time highs of about $10, and has now pulled back since then, and for the past about week and a half has been trading in the $5 to $6 range. But again, the Boba network didn't have any price action before the actual airdrop. And looking at the OMG network, OMG actually had a big price run up before the snapshot, because the network did have a snapshot even though the Boba token didn't. OMG actually dropped about 25% within 15 minutes of the snapshot announcing that it had happened. And over the next day or two, dropped about 30 to 35% before recovering some of that. So I don't think XRP is actually going to drop 25 to 30% right on Christmas Eve after the snapshot has taken place. I could be wrong, but I think there's a lot of other things that are in the works with the XRP price. Because if you've been holding XRP, you know that great news and horrible news just doesn't seem to move the price at all. Now, the other airdrop that I took a look at was another one on the Ethereum network, ENS. Now, ENS is a governance token. It's another one that no one has ever heard of and no one really cares about unless you actually participated in the airdrop. And from what I've been seeing on Twitter, there's a few people that basically said, I was essentially airdropped a small fortune right to my wallet. Crazy times we live in. So here's what happened with the ENS token. Again, this did not have any price action prior to the airdrop. It was simply airdropped and the price action took its place. Now, of course, there's speculation. There's a lot of articles written about what the potential market cap could be, price action, things like that. So once it was airdropped, it started at $33 and within a day fell to about $23. So right away lost about 30% of its value. However, it then began to climb over the next 2 weeks to over $80. So $33 at the time of airdrop to a high of $80 a couple of weeks later. And again, this is a governance token. This is not something sexy like an NFT marketplace or a decentralized exchange where you can buy and sell tokenized securities, at least pending. Now that was at ENS all-time high. It's now trading roughly somewhere between $60 to $80 depending on the week, but still massively up over what the initial airdrop price was. But again, this didn't have a snapshot price, so we can't see what happened to the price as a run-up. Maybe if it would have had a run-up, maybe if it would have had price action before the airdrop, maybe it would have been trading at $60 to $80 and then dropped to $33 when it was airdropped. But we don't know. This is going to be different. The Sologenic airdrop is going to be different than most other airdrops that have ever happened. So let's give some examples about how much Sologenic you could actually end up with. Because as of right now, it is not a true one-to-one drop. So what Sologenic is going to do is take a snapshot on December 24th, however many Solo holders and XRP holders there are that are counted with trust lines, or depending on where you hold your Solo tokens, they're going to spread out 100 million Solo tokens to Solo holders and 100 million to XRP holders. And there have been wild speculations of some people that say that it's going to be a 5-to-1 drop, meaning you're going to get 5 Solo tokens for every 1 Solo token you have. And other people have said, nah, it's probably going to be more like 1 to maybe 1.5 Solo tokens for every 1 Solo token. But let's quick do the math here. There's 200 million Solo tokens in circulation. If every single one of them are counted in the snapshot, that means at a minimum, you would be getting a half of a Solo token for every 1 Solo token you hold. Now, XRP is a little bit different because there are far more XRP coins out there that'll be captured in the snapshot, and that is anybody's guess as to what that ratio is actually going to be. So let's just say that you have 1,000 Solo tokens. If it does end up being a 5-to-1 drop, well, you would essentially end up with 5,000 more Solo tokens. Well, at the current price of $6.50, it's over $33,000 in free money. That's not bad. Well, what if it's only 1-to-1? What if a lot of people are actually taking place? Like I said, at worst case scenario, you get half a Solo token. So if you have 1,000, you would end up with 500 additional tokens. Well, 500 additional tokens at the current price of $6.50, that's a little over $3,400. Well, what if the price crashes? Well, what if it crashes 30%? Well, you still end up with a couple $1,000s in your pocket for doing absolutely nothing. Or maybe it will end up being that 5-to-1 ratio and you end up with 5,000 additional Solo tokens. And instead of trading at $6.50, it ratchets up to $10, $15, $20 and becomes the same market cap as the ENS token did on the previous airdrop, putting your 5,000 tokens at $20 a piece at $100,000. Now, there's not a lot that is set in stone, and it's going to be really, really fun to watch and cover this as it plays out. And of course, as more details emerge, I'm definitely going to be making more videos on it. I'll put a link in the description below. Sologenic just created a Discord server. You can go ahead and join the discussion there. There's a lot of people there asking questions, answering questions. You can get a lot more details there as well. So I'll put a link in that description below. You can also follow me on Twitter, have a conversation about things like where to store your Solo token, where to get your Solo token. FYI, you can do it via an affiliate link below at a place called Bit4x. You can get Solo tokens there, as well as a few other places. Speaking of exchanges, Bob Raz, who is the co-creator of Sologenic, he actually tweeted out a little while ago and said that they've been in discussions with 2 other Tier 1 exchanges. and they're going to have some news about some listings coming up very soon. And he also tweeted out that on December 20th, the Sologenic team has a big announcement to make that's going to benefit current Solo holders. Now, who knows what that is? It could be staking, maybe it's an exchange news, who knows what that's going to be, but I can't wait to hear it. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end and for giving this video a big thumbs up. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.